What's good, y'all? Back with another video for y'all. I know it's been a minute, but I got a crazy one for y'all today, and I'm doing it all from scratch. You're gonna see the whole process. A lot of y'all been asking me for this for the longest time. I'm talking years. This is the sample tutorial exclusively by me, Canary Jules. This is the right way to do it. There's really not no right way, but this is the right way for me, just to get the best possible sound, the most realistic sound. Now, before I jump into this, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment, because y'all know this is about to be crazy, and I know y'all be asking for more. And make sure, if you want 50% off of kits, use the code SOUNDS at needthatkit.com. The link is in the description below. And before I jump into this, I'm going to give y'all a few tips. Number one is use a damn MIDI keyboard, man. Do not click this shit in. It is possible, but it's really time consuming. It's tedious. But if you use your MIDI keyboard, you could use the modulation wheel, and at the same time you could use the key switches, which are included in like contact banks and different things like that. So use a MIDI keyboard. Number two, don't make no fucking 8-bar loop. Don't make no quick ass loop. Make it a full composition. Make it a 16 to 32 bar loop. You know what I mean? And another tip is sound selection is key. I know a lot of y'all know that, but sound selection, how the sounds mesh together, is really key for real. Let me see if there's anything else that I wrote down. Oh yeah, don't perfectly quantize your melodies, because it just takes the realism out of the loop. I see a lot of tutorials that they'll drop and they'll have like the melody perfectly quantized. Like, what's the point of that? That's not even like emulating a sample style thing, because back in the day they didn't even have any quantizers and stuff. That's what gave the real feeling of it. But let me stop talking so much and jump into the tutorial, because I know y'all want to see it. So yeah, let me go ahead and jump into it right quick. Things first, I'm going to start off with the main melody, of course. I'm going to be using a contact bank called upright piano, vintage upright piano, that is. And this is before all the mixing. I'm going to mix all this shit at the end. But first, I'm going to show y'all how I do the melody and how I just layer all the sounds. And I'll be playing it with the MIDI keyboard, and I'll be playing in the key of F minor. So yeah, if y'all wanted to know the key. But yeah, let me go ahead and jump into it. Quick disclaimer for y'all, I had no sleep last night. I've been up all night. It is now 10:30 a.m. in the morning, and I haven't had any sleep, and this is the second day I've done that. So if I look like a zombie, that's why. So basically what I'm going to do now is slightly quantize the melody. I'm not going to fully quantize it. It's not going to be perfect, hitting exactly on the bars, but I am going to quantize it enough to where it has a certain bounce to it. It has its own feel to it. So yeah. Okay, so now I have the melody as quantized as I want it, and I didn't use the quick quantize, none of that. What I actually did was I went and actually changed it to 1/6 bar, and then just slid the notes. I didn't even try to hit them on the exact bars. I just slid them close enough to the bar where it hits close enough, but it's not exactly. It has a more human feel, it has a more natural feel. If you listen to any of the big sample guys, the big composition creators, they will have that natural feel to it. It's not some robotic-y type of feel, so yeah. All right, so now what I'm gonna do is add these pure jazz vibes, which just adds a little bit of, vibraphone, which is another one of the old school instruments that they used to use. So make sure that you know the instruments, well, not even know the instrument, that you study the instruments that they used back in the day. You know what I mean? Like vibraphones. You don't have to like study the instrument in and out, but just know like, oh, they use the vibraphone here, they use, you know what I mean? Just keep it simple. All right, so I have the vibraphone as quantized as I want it, not fully quantized, just slightly. So here's how it sounds. What I'm gonna do is go ahead and add some bass, some live bass, some realistic sounding bass. And of course, I'm going with the Native Instruments Scarby Rickenbacker bass. It is a very, just very responsive bass. You can use the mod wheel. This is where it'll come in handy. Kind of give you a little wobble, kind of give you that realistic bass feel. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and work on that melody and I'll check back in with y'all. So I did the same exact thing with the bass, quantized it with the none on or the 1/6. You could either try either of them, either step, like 1/6 step or the none, and quantize it by hand like that. Don't quick quantize it, it'll sound shitty and robotic. But here's how it sounds after what I did. So. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is show you guys another technique, and you do this with any rolls or any electric piano. It's pretty much like a little roll to like add a little accent to the sample. I'm pretty sure y'all have heard it in my samples before, but I'm going to go ahead and do that right quick and then quantize and play it for y'all. So. So I got the rolls, the little rolls accent. I got that, you know, quantized as much as I want it to be quantized. I'll play that for y'all right quick. A little accent to like add a little extra flavor, extra little sauce on top of your melodies. So that's a little quick pointer from your boy. So what I did here was I just added a breakdown, added another part, like kind of like add some, you know, variety, some, you know, versatility with the melody to where it doesn't just stick to the same shit for the whole however many bars it is. So what I did was I pretty much duplicated the main melody, but I took some of the notes out that I originally played to kind of give this more of a slow feel whenever it hits the, you know, the breakdown part, so people could, you know, build their verses around it. So I'm gonna go ahead and play y'all this. So it goes from this. Alright, so on this part, I'm gonna record a lead over the breakdown part just to add, you know, another accent like I said. I'm gonna be using the fuck out of the modulation wheel. I'm trying to tell y'all niggas y'all should use the modulation wheel, make shit sound way more realistic. Y'all hear the analog shit from back in the 70s and the 80s. Them niggas was going crazy with the left hand with the modulation wheel. You gotta do the same shit if you wanna, you know, replicate that type of sound. Alright, so what I did was I added the lead, quantized it with the none, with that technique that I use. Either you're gonna, click none, and you're gonna click 1/6 step and just slide the notes. Do not perfectly, I don't know how many times I gotta reiterate this, but do not perfectly quantize your shit when you're making like vintage samples. I mean, it should be like common sense, and it is to most of y'all, but I just have to reiterate it. But here's how it sounds. Let's move on to the mixing part now. I'm going to show y'all the plugins I have on the sounds now, and I'm going to show y'all what I put on the master as far as getting that vintage effect. So let's jump into it. I know y'all want to see this part. The main sound, the piano, I have the parametric EQ and the Valhalla vintage verb on it. I'll show you the settings right quick for both. For the electric piano sound, I have Valhalla vintage verb again and fruity delay. I'll show you the settings for those too. And last but not least, I have Valhalla vintage verb on the lead, just to add some space, add some depth. It was a little too dry. Y'all know what I mean. And last but not least, the master and chain. Just have a few plugins on here. Sometimes I add a couple more, some give or take, you know what I mean? But the main plugins you will get that vintage sound with, the air, the warpness, the kind of like pitchiness in the sample. It's these three. Well, Ozone really just helps with the volume and the mastering. Y'all know what that does. Isotope Vinyl, y'all pretty much know what that does. But I'm gonna show y'all my settings. Abbey Road Vinyl pretty much does the same thing, but it adds air, it adds extra stuff. So I'll pretty much show y'all the plugin right quick. And I did put Isotope Vinyl on the master along with the Abbey Road Vinyl because I added a little wear to the sample with Isotope Vinyl, just a little bit of wear, just a little bit of, that grunginess, that distortion is just a little tiny bit, like a tidbit of it. But I did increase the warp depth. I'm about to show you right quick. Then for Ozone, I used the vintage hip hop preset. Pretty much just brings up the volume, just gives it a more fullness, gives it a more body. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bypass everything and let you hear it without the, the chain, and then I'll play it with the chain. And y'all let me know what y'all think. That's pretty much the end of my first sample tutorial. Y'all gotta run this up. Y'all gotta share this. Let everybody know, because y'all been waiting for this. Had to drop it. This is the first one. Definitely dropping a part 2. Let me know what else y'all want to see in the comment section below. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on IG at Canary Jewels, but y'all probably already did. Shout out to everybody that's watching. A lot more on the way. I appreciate the support. And I'm out.